Here's what I've noticed while being on this channel. People have very cheap opinions when it comes to AI. Let me explain. So I've started this channel about 2 months ago with the idea in mind that I wanted to educate people about all the things that I've been learning in my job as an AI safety researcher that I find very worrying and I think everybody should be aware of. So as much as possible, I've been trying to make content about things that people in my field are talking about. And I've been surprised by the fact that my comment section is mostly filled with two kinds of people. The first one is people who are interested in the field and either want to enter it or just listen to content that talks about it. But there's this second kind of person that tends to be a little bit skeptical about the future of AI progress and doesn't really believe that the things that they're hearing from AI CEOs or from people in AI safety like myself are true. And just that in itself is pretty healthy. What I find problematic is what I call these cheap opinions. Those are thoughts that people will just blurt out, typically based on some headline, for example, that AI doesn't actually make people as productive as we think, or about all these hallucinations that we continue to see. And they'll just be like, yeah, no, AI isn't actually as dangerous as you might think because it's not that capable and it's never going to reach human intelligence until it's at least good enough to figure out how many R's there are in a word strawberry. So what makes, in my view, these kind of opinions pretty cheap is, of course, holding this opinion doesn't actually cost them anything unless you want to consider that they're missing out because they're not investing in AI in the stock market. That's not my worry. But this differs a lot with how people in my field are thinking about AI because they're like, we are the people who understand AI the most. We are the people who have looked at the question of AI risk the most. We've spent decades theorizing it and now we are observing exactly the kind of outcomes that we predicted. Humanity as a whole isn't really aware of the fact that they're creating a technology that is about to destroy them. And we have to make decisions based on the fact that we're the only ones who have that kind of awareness. So of course they take it very seriously. And they go to heads of state and they tell them, you are in charge of the well-being of your population. You cannot take this lightly. I used to play SimCity when I was younger, and this is kind of the position I imagine myself to be in when I think about these issues. Like, you're the one who's making the decisions that are literally going to determine whether the world continues to live or dies. Don't you think if that were the case, you'd be a little bit more careful with dismissing what scientists are saying? Like, if you really thought that the life of the people you care about was on the line, just a 10% chance of something really bad happening is definitely worth considering, right? Look, I'm not saying scientists and myself are always going to be right. I'm just saying we need to apply a precautionary principle.